What up, you guys? Welcome back to the Dre Files, featuring yours truly on Dre. Now, we back up close and personal, but that's because we doing a lot of speaky week and we gonna have a little powwow today, okay? We gotta talk about some serious business after last week's video, okay? But before we get into any of that, I gotta do a quick promo. Now, y'all know this month is Pride Month, so I'm gonna be wearing my different variations of the Kiss Me I'm Gay shirt. I'm trying to make a business, okay? So, I have on my Kiss Me I'm Gay hoodie. Again, we have our two beautiful gay couple on the back kissing or about to kiss. You can go and copy yours today at ariandrellc.com. That's ariandre.com. And use code ariandretv for 20% off and checkout. That is 20% off your order, baby. Come on, get it, lock in. You already know what to do. Anyways, let's get into today's video. So, in today's episode, is going to be a lot of reference to my last video called Relation Equation, where we went through different types of relationship dynamics. And because we talked about a whole bunch of stuff, a lot of people had a lot of questions. So they sent them in, and I'm going to make a video addressing most of them so that we can get them all done in one go round instead of having week after week videos types. Also, before we get into the dilemma speak, if you do want to join in the daily dilemma, I do them every now and again whenever somebody sends one in, but I do have a segment on my show called Daily Dilemmas or Weekly Dilemma, and basically you bring me your problems, I give you my outside perspective and my opinion of how I see the situation as an outside person looking in. Just advice based off of my opinion, and having somebody else give you a different point of view on something sometimes helps you see it in a different way that you didn't see it before. So that's all I really try and do with these dilemmas, is just give you a different point of view and tell you what I would do as my advice. Like, I'm not going to give you something that I wouldn't do. You feel me? I'm not going to give you something that I wouldn't do or that's like not already proven to work because I've done it before. You feel me? So our first dilemma. I watched your healed versus unhealed episode, and now I'm questioning my friendship. My best friend is always in drama. Every week, it's a new fight, new enemy, new crisis. I've done everything I can to help them grow, but they say I'm judging them whenever I point out patterns. At what point does helping become enabling? So, if you watched my video, then you know I spoke on how if you're unhealed, you can easily become healed if you're willing to do the work. If you're willing to heal, if you're willing to go through the process of healing, then you can easily go from unhealed to healed. But if that person is not ready to heal, then they're not going to be able to listen to this. They're going to take what you say as judging instead of active criticism for them to help fix the problems that they're having. If you're getting into drama, fights, arguments with people, everybody's not wrong. There's something going on with you that is making everybody else, react how they're reacting. It's causing problems if it's happening every week and it's not just the same person. If you're having problems with the same person, then you could be like, hey, that person has beef with me. But if I'm going around and I'm having all these different problems with different people, then sometimes people have to take a look within and be like, am I the problem? And that person, that friend is not ready to look within and be like, am I the problem that's causing these situations? Or what am I doing that's causing these situations? They're not to the point that they're ready to heal. So you can tell them all day, but it's always going to come off as judging. Now, you fully taking a step back and not helping your friend out whenever they're actively doing something wrong or having a problem, then you are enabling them to allow them to make the same mistakes. So it is technically a double-edged sword. You either judging or you are enabling them by not saying anything, and you know that they're doing wrong. Now, there really is no way around it except for changing the way you say things. Because if you keep pointing it out, it's still going to come off as judging because that's the mindset of this person. But if you change the way you say things and you allow them to come to the conclusion that, hey, I'm making this mistake, or hey, I'm doing this. Because see, if somebody's coming up to you like this, oh, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're doing this, you're doing that, I get defensive. You're judging me, like you're doing too much. But if you're coming at me and you're asking questions, I'm like, oh, I did this, but I probably could have did this thing. Then I'm actively realizing, hey, I did wrong, but I could have did it a different way, or hey, X, Y, and Z. So it's more so in the way you say things, but trying and say things or communicate with them in a way that gets them to see what they're doing is wrong on their own terms. Get them to explain the situation and the faults and the wrongs that they're doing out of their mouth with their own words, and that helps them realize what's going on. But if you're coming up to them, you're like, oh, no, you did X, Y, and Z, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, or whatever, versus, hey, so this is the situation that I'm seeing, right? So help me figure this out. Like, what happened? Like, how'd y'all get from point A to point B? Oh, because you did this? Well, why did you do that? Like, just get them to dive in deeper, and they could probably more than likely see the signs for themselves. And if they are ready to heal, then they will be able to realize that as y'all are speaking. Realize, damn, maybe I did mess up. Maybe I did do this as y'all are speaking and communicating and diving into this scenario. But if you're coming at it and just telling them straight up, hey, this is what I'm seeing that you're doing wrong, they're automatically going to get defensive and they're not going to be able to believe you. But as your friend, hell, any friends for real, you're supposed to be able to hold me accountable for my actions. You're supposed to be able to tell me when I'm doing right or wrong. So as a real friend, they should be able to hear that and not feel like you're judging them, but feel like you're trying to help them. So it's more so like a mindset part on their part, but at the same time, you can change the way you say things in order to make it not so much of a judgment, but more so as I'm helping you come to a revelation, if that makes sense. That's all I could really say about it, because you are doing the right thing as a friend by telling them that they're doing wrong and trying to help them elevate and heal and be better. But not everybody's gonna be ready to hear that. So some people need a different route in order to hear that. Some people need to hear it from themselves before they can hear it from somebody else. I would just say try and change the way you say things, but don't ever stop trying to help better somebody. Or don't ever stop trying to be like, hey, Buki, I'm holding you accountable. You did wrong. Like, what are you doing? As a friend, you can't not hold your peoples accountable, because then you just as bad as them. If you gonna allow them to do that same thing, that falls back on you too, because what the hell? Anyway, the next one. My girlfriend is genuinely trying to heal from past trauma. The problem is every disagreement becomes about what someone else did to her years ago. I love her, but I'm starting to feel punished for wounds I didn't create. Do I stay patient, or do I set harder boundaries? So that's a tricky one, because on one hand, she has been through trauma. These people have hurt her. They have left scars. So some of the things that you do, how you act, how you say things, or whatever the case may be, might trigger her and might remind her of those relationships. But on the other hand, she could also be telling you about these things because she trusts you. She doesn't want you to hurt her in the same way that these past people have hurt her. So she's opening up and she's telling you, hey, what you did just hurt me, and this is why. Most people that come with trauma or have like a problem with something that you're doing and bringing it to your attention because of past trauma or what they've been through, they're not bringing it to your attention because they want to. A lot of people don't want to relive their trauma. They're bringing it to you for a reason. And if it's because you've done something that reminds them of that, it's because they don't want to allow it to happen again, because they might like you. She might really like you and just want to tell you this way that you're doing something is hurting her and it's reminding her of her past traumas, and she doesn't want you to continue doing it. That's probably why she's bringing it to your attention. You feel me? But on the flip side, I can definitely understand how every time it seems like you're having to walk on eggshells because you can't do anything without reminding her of her past. And you don't know her past. You don't know the things that she's been through. So it comes off out of left field because you're sad out of nowhere, and I'm supposed to know that it was caused by some traumatic event from your past. I can't know that. You know, so it's like you're walking on eggshells because you don't know what actions you're taking are going to set her off or trigger her. And you're also having to basically fight a dead battle. Like, these are past relationships that are no longer here to deal with, and you're having to take on and fight all of that energy. It's a lot. It's hard because you're having to fight her past to have a future with her, if that makes sense. But that's how it is in any type of relationship with somebody who's dealt with trauma. You're going to have to fight the trauma head on alongside them. She's fighting that every day. She's probably having mental battles every day. But she trusts you enough to tell you about her traumas, and she trusts you to not do the same things that people have done in the past before. Because if you think about it, if I'm opening up to you about my traumas, you're finding out a way to hurt me. You're finding out a way that has hurt me in the past and still hurts me to this day. So you can take that and use it to your advantage and hurt me more. When people open up about their traumas, it's like opening a wound. I don't want to relive this stuff, but I'm reliving it because I want you to know what hurt me in the past and to not do it again as somebody I trust. You know? And that's probably what she's saying. And for that, you do need to still be patient with her, because trauma is not something easy to get over. It's not just some one and done thing. It's going to be multiple things that trigger her, and that's just what trauma is. It's hard to get rid of, but it's easier to get to a place where you feel safe with the person you with, that trauma no longer holds weight on you. You can have trauma, but at the same time, if somebody makes you feel so loved, so seen, and so cared for, and you trust them, all of that feels weightless because you don't have to worry about these past traumas with this person. And she probably just hasn't gotten to that point yet, but going through all of these little trials and tribulations where she's having to tell you or having to open up and all of that stuff, she's able to get you to build that trust with her, or she's able to find that trust in you as, I'm telling you something that hurts me, this is why, because it happened from my past, and then you no longer doing it again. That helps build trust on her end, and that helps her know that you are not like her past. You just have to keep showing up and showing out and showing her how you are not her past, as well as you might need to openly state it. Buck up and say something. Be like, look, baby, I'm not your past. I'm not these past people that have hurt you. Okay, baby, I'm here to love you. I'm here to care for you. You don't have to worry about that stuff for me. But then you also have to back it up with actions, because there are too many times where people will say one thing and completely mean a completely different thing. So if you're going to say that to her, you need to back it up with actions, and you need to be there, and you need to be upfront with her, and you need to be comforting of her traumas. If she's telling you something, that's because she wants you to know and she trusts you with the information. So yes, I believe you should give her some time, because trauma is something that's hard to get over, and it's not just some one and done thing, and it's not easy. It's a trial, and you're going to be dealing with it for the rest of your life. But if this is somebody who you've had such a great connection with, just try to have some patience. You have to set up that boundary to be like, look, baby, try to give me a clean slate. I'm coming at this as somebody who wants to love you, wants to learn you, wants to do everything. So give me a clean slate. Try to allow me to love you the way that you want to be loved, and have no like past traumas hinder that. You feel me? If I'm doing something wrong, let me know, of course, but don't believe that I'm going to make the same mistakes that they did. If I haven't shown you that I'm going to make mistakes like they did, or if you tell me something and I'm instantly fixing it, and there's no repetition of like having to tell you over and over about something, believe me and let me show you. Try and give me a clean slate, but at the same time, if I do something that's triggering, let me know so I don't do it again. But you do have to show up and show out, because when you have somebody and you're dealing with somebody that has trauma, it's harder for them to feel comforted and loved, and to trust somebody, and to put their whole heart into things, and to not feel as if any day now you could backstab me. You feel me? So have patience and just try to allow her to feel that comfort. It's gonna take time, but I promise you it's worth it. The next dilemma, and this one was a little juicy one. I found out my friend is being cheated on. The person cheating begged me not to say anything because they're planning on confessing soon. Do I tell my friend immediately or stay out of it? Now, listen. I'm a firm believer. My friend is my friend. If I don't know you, but I know you through my friend or something like that, I have no ties to you. If this person who's been dating your friend, you don't got no ties to, you don't owe them anything. You don't owe them a grain of salt or nothing. You can tell your friend immediately. Hell, if I find out you're cheating on my friend, I'm calling her as soon as I find out. If I got the evidence or the scene right in front of me, I'm calling, taking pictures, recording, whatever the case may be. I'm getting some form of evidence. And I'm sending it to my best friend immediately. There's no way that you're going to be playing in her face like that. No. So in this scenario, in my opinion, go ahead and tell your friend, because you owe this other person nothing. If you don't have ties to them, if they're not your friend or anything like that, you don't owe them nothing. Be a good friend first and tell the truth rather than allow somebody to play in their face. You know that they playing in their face, tell them immediately. What are you talking about? There is no if, ands, or buts. I'm telling my friend immediately. Now, you can be nice and give people a little leeway because you want to trust that people are going to be honest, you know? But not everybody is. And the fact that they said that they're going to confess soon, and that's the reason why they don't want you to say anything, the only reason why they're saying that is because you found out. If you never found out, they were not going to say anything. So when they say confessing soon, that means never. That means they're going to try and hold out as long as they can to the very last moment before you tell them so that they don't have to deal with the repercussions right now. They're trying to be in la la land until things get serious and they got to either tell it or let you tell it. You feel me? But until it gets to that serious point, they trying to sit here and be like, if they don't see it, it don't hurt them. Like if I don't say nothing, nobody gonna remember that it happened and everybody will forget eventually. No. If it doesn't come with a time limit, like, hey, in the next couple of days, I'm about to tell them. I just got to gear up the confidence to tell them or something like that. You can be nice and give people time to make that right choice and to be honest people and let them figure it out. But that's your friend that's getting done dirty, and this is somebody you don't really know. Now, if you know both of them, you friends with both of them, give them a time limit and try and stay out of the situation. But if they don't do it by the time limit, you go ahead and tell the friend. Bottom line, tell the friend if you want to be nice, or if you know this person that's doing the cheating and you want to give them some time, give them a time limit. But for me, it ain't going over no 24 hours. You got a day to rack your mind, figure out what you're going to say and say it. It don't take a week. It don't take a month. It don't take nothing like that. You got 24 hours, if that. Hell, I should make you pick up the phone, call her right now, and tell her that you're cheating. But I'm going to give you 24 hours. That's all you're getting out of me, though. But yeah, tell it. The next dilemma we got. Every time someone in my family needs something, they call me. Need money? Me. Need a ride? Me. Need a babysitter? Me. When I need help, everyone's busy. If I stop helping, am I selfish or just finally respecting myself? That one's an easy one because even if you're giving, even if it's family, there comes to a point where sometimes you're going to have to receive. You can't just give and have everybody around you take and nobody give to you. Like we spoke about in the last video, if you're a giver and you're giving out too much of yourself to other people and not receiving enough, your cup's going to be empty. While everybody else's is full and they're all taken care of and they're all comfortable, like, well, where's my help? And that's not fair to you. You're finally getting to the point where you want to respect your time and your efforts and your niceness that you've given out to other people, and you're reeling it back in and being like, you know what? I don't need to give y'all anything. I don't owe y'all anything. I don't have to do none of the stuff that I've been doing. I do it because I love you and we're family. But because none of y'all want to help me when I'm down, I'm no longer going to be that person that y'all can call on. Call on each other. Call on somebody else, but don't call me right now. Let me be your last resort because y'all rely on me too much. You're finally respecting yourself, and that's okay. You're not, you are being selfish, but it's in a way to respect yourself. And that is not a quote unquote selfish thing to do. Like, yes, it's selfish, but it's not the original term, as in, like, oh, I only want to do stuff for myself. No, you're doing stuff for yourself after already having done stuff for other people. I feel like that is a different form of selfishness that isn't getting talked about enough. But once you've done so much for other people, there is a type of selfishness where you just need to think about yourself for once instead of all of these other people. Don't ever feel like you're doing too much or you're being selfish or overly selfish. Baby, be selfish. You deserve to be selfish. You got every right to be selfish. Be selfish. If they consider it selfish, then they were never your family or there for you to begin with. If you can't say no one time and they still be there for you or still be in your corner, they were never there for you to begin with. In this time of selfishness, you also gonna see who your real peoples are. If somebody can ask you something, you say no and they still fuck with you afterwards. Those are the people who weren't there just for the fact that you can do what you can for them. They're there because you're a person, they trust you, and they want to ask you for help. You know, there's a difference between I'm only coming to you because I know you'll do it versus I'm coming to you because I trust you and I want you to help me with this. You know what I'm saying? So be selfish is not bad. You need to finally take time for yourself and fill your cup up, Bookie. So the next dilemma. My boyfriend has tons of female friends. He's never given me a reason to not trust him, but I still get anxious every time he hangs out with them. Is it my insecurities to fix, or should a good partner adjust for my comfort? So in this case, right, if he's had female friends prior to y'all being together, then that might be more so your insecurities talking, because you got to think about this logically. He's had these friends before I even came into the picture. I can't just up and expect him to cut these friends off just because they're women, just because I'm feeling like he's going to do something. He hasn't given me no reason to. So that might be a little bit more of the insecurity part. Now, it gets a little techie when y'all have been together and then he starts to make these friends. Now, if y'all have been together and then he made these friends and he's hanging out with them all the time, it's getting a little, okay? That's when you need to start asking questions. That's when it needs to be a little bit of, it's not so much of your insecurities. It might be more so that intuition telling you something ain't right about this. Not a lot of people think opposite sex can be friends. They can be in select little relationships, but not all the time. It's not a all the time guarantee. So it's a little shaky when people who are in a male-female relationship go out and be friends with the opposite sex. It's a lot on the partner to think about and not be insecure about. You feel me? Things just get a little weird, or you feel that things are weird, or he's coming back at like weird times and stuff like that. That might be when you might want to have the conversation with him, because it's more than just your insecurities. It's more so, something ain't right about this. So if they met prior to y'all being together, it might be more so insecurities. If they met after y'all being together, it might be more so they should just adjust based off of the fact that you're not okay with it. I feel like if you have an open, honest conversation like that, y'all should be able to come to a compromise where they're spending a little less time with them and you're not feeling like you're having to fully take them away from somebody that they were already friends with. You feel me? You never want to try and mess up a friendship just because you're feeling insecure. You feel me? But you can also express to your partner, like, hey, this is something that's making me feel uncomfortable, and it would be appreciated for you to not spend as much time with them. If they love you and they care for you, they'll listen and try to come to a compromise. But if they're also trying to fight to see these people more, it might be a little shaky. And honestly, this little situation right here, I got a situation that done happened with a past relationship and something like this, and it pisses me off to this day. Okay, so I'm kind of a little biased on this, but I'm trying to stay in my middle ground. You feel me? But like I said, if they met prior to y'all being together, it might not be so much. It gets a little shaky if they met afterwards, because that's a different story. But all it takes is a conversation for you to be like, hey, I don't like how much time you're spending with these people. And depending on how they react, depends on how you should go about things. Because ultimately, if you're in a relationship with somebody, you should be able to bring something to their attention that they're doing, and y'all be able to come to a compromise. So if you don't like the fact that they're hanging out with these people so often, they should want to not spend as much time with them in order to help make you feel secure. Not fully cutting them off because you don't want to control somebody and, like, you know, try and dictate who's in their life and who's not. You feel me? But also, they should be able to understand, like, hey, this is something that does make your partner feel a little weird. So let's come to a compromise. Let's try and fix it. Let's try and come to a better solution type thing. But yeah, ultimately, don't ignore this feeling. If it's something that, if you're assessing like all the facts from it and you're like, this is something that's a little weird to me, I wouldn't just disregard it. You definitely got to take some type of heed to the situation. But also, don't take it to the point of like trying to control somebody else because you're feeling some type of way. My next dilemma. I've been dating somebody for 8 months. We laugh, spend time together, and act like a couple. But every time I bring up the future, they shut down. How long do I wait for somebody to open up before accepting that they won't? First things first, that's a red flag. That is a red flag if every time you bring up the future with somebody, they avoid the question, or they're not speaking on it, or they're not trying to talk about it. Because when you like somebody, or you're in it with somebody, or I really see myself being with this person, you're unconsciously gonna add them into the future with you. You know, oh, when's the next time? Oh, when we go, or like, you know, it's always a we. Any plans or future things has a we into it because they're seeing you and them in this future together. If they really mess with you, they really rock with you, it shouldn't be something that you gotta shy away from or like not answer or deflect or, you know, stuff like that. If you really see a future with somebody, it shouldn't be too hard to just live in the delusion of like, hey, let's plan for the future. Let's talk about the future. You know what I'm saying? It's a big red flag that they not talk about the future. But then again, y'all have only been dating for 8 months. But then again, y'all have also been dating for 8 months. You feel me? 8 months is long as heck, but 8 months is also short as heck. You feel me? It's not enough to know, hey, this is the person that I'm trying to spend the rest of my life with. But it also might be more than enough time for somebody to know, hey, this is the person I want to at least get into a serious relationship with for the next however long. You feel me? Like, you should be able to talk about the future. And if they're afraid to talk about the future or deflect talking about the future with you all the time, they probably don't see a future with you in it. And that's a sign. That's a red flag. I would just take a closer look at y'all's relationship and how they act. Because if everything's perfect, they just don't want to talk about future things with you. It's a little shaky because, like, you don't want to negate the fact that everything is perfect, but you also don't want to not look at the fact that they don't want to talk about a future with you. But yeah, you shouldn't wait too long. You've already seen the signs enough to send in this. So you're definitely to that point. But I would try and have a open conversation and see how they react. If you have an open conversation with them and you explicitly ask, where do you see us going in the future? Do you see a future with us in it? Asking specific questions like that and seeing what their answers is. Because if somebody sees a future with you, that question won't be something that they shy away from. But if they don't see a future with you, but they're also might not be confrontational, they're not going to want to answer that. They're probably going to beat around the bush or not answer that question. But anybody who sees a future with you will be able to answer that question. Like, where do you see us being in the future? Or where do you see this relationship going? Oh, I see it going like great places. Like, we're going to do a bunch of great things together. We're going to do X, Y, and Z together. Or I just feel like we have so much of a connection that I hope this lasts. Like, you know, hope for the future, hope for the future, hope for the future type thing. But if they don't see a future with you, then the way they respond to this question will let you know how they see y'all's relationship going. But yeah, I would just try and have some type of open conversation that explicitly asks something about the future to where you can't walk away from this. You know, like it's not something that just pops up in conversation that you can kind of deflect around. Like, no, the conversation is this question. We're going to have it, you know, and you might need to have it because 8 months is a long time, but it's also not enough time for you to be like, damn, I wasted all this time on somebody who doesn't even care for me. You feel me? If they see a future with you, they'll let you know and they'll show you. You feel me? So don't waste your time on somebody who doesn't even see you past like a couple months or, you know, somebody who doesn't see an active future with you because now you're wasting your time. So my last and final dilemma of the day is how many times can someone make the same mistake before forgiveness becomes stupidity? For me, a mistake can range from like little white lies that I could forgive you 1,000 times and still be cool with you because it's so minuscule. Or it could be like, you make this one mistake, I'm never talking to you again. Like the thing you did, I would never do, so I cannot let you back in my life type thing. A mistake kind of depends on how long the forgiveness should last. But for me personally, anything, especially dealing with relationships, anything that I have to tell you 3 times about, it's raps. But you know the saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That's because the first time somebody fools you or makes a mistake with you, that's a shame on them. Like, dang, you really thought you could do that. But once you see somebody make the same mistake or see somebody do the same thing over and over, now it's a shame on you because you're allowing them to make the same mistakes and still be in your presence. You're allowing them to still make the same mistakes and forgiving them each time and allowing them back into your life to do the same thing over and over. At this point, as many times as they done messed up, you should see the signs. So that's why I say you only got 3 times with me. Because we're not going to keep talking about the same thing. I'm not going to keep dealing with the same thing. I'm fed up at a certain point. You feel me? I feel like 3 times is enough. Now, depending on the mistake. If it's just a small mistake, you probably have a lot more times. But generally speaking, I give everything 3 chances. The first time is a warning. Second time is a reiteration. The third time is an ultimatum. You either do it or I'm out. You're going to keep doing the thing that you know hurts me, or I'm going to leave and save my peace. I'm always going to leave and save my peace because it saves my peace. I'm not dealing with this with you. First time, you talk to him, you lay the groundwork, tell him what it is, tell it how it made you feel, and work out how y'all can move forward. The second time you have to bring it up, hey, reiteration. First time, this is what we talked about. This is what we said we was going to do. Can we, come back to that ideal? Can we rehash this out and like, hey, this is what we're going to do. Third time, I've already talked to you twice. We're not going to keep having this discussion. You either make these changes, we either come to a compromise, or I'm out. Because what we're doing right now isn't working. And we've already had 2 conversations about it. But typically, if you get to that point and you're to the point where it's an ultimatum time and it's either you do this or I'm leaving, they don't get that far. Especially if they love you or they care for you or they really aren't trying to hurt you with the mistakes that they're making. They're going to want to do what it takes to keep you and to fix you. But also somebody who does what it takes to keep you and fix you would have fixed it off the first try and not the third try. But, you know, to each his own. Some people you need to beat it into a little bit. Not actually. I don't condone the violence. Okay? But you need to talk to them because some people are oblivious. And you might just need to explicitly state, hey, this is what I'm wanting. This is what I'm wanting to see. This is what you're not bringing. Can we fix this? You know? But after a while, there's only but so much forgiving that you can do for the same mistake before you have to blame yourself that you're allowing this person to still make the same mistakes. So, rule of thumb, 3 strikes you're out. But also, don't keep forgiving somebody for the same BS if you know that they're going to continue to do the same thing. At some point, you're going to have respect for yourself and draw the line of when enough is enough. When they've made too many mistakes to the point where you're not going to keep falling for their mistakes. Okay? But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for today's video. We went through a lot of dilemmas. We went through a lot of problems. I hope everybody heard it, got what they needed from it, and is living their best life. And if you heard something that you're probably going through today, leave a note in the comments. Drop a note in the comments. But if you don't want to hit it in the comments, if that's too public, too personal, and all of that stuff, go ahead and send me an anonymous weekly dilemma with the link below. And let me know what your problems are, and we'll answer it on one of my videos. But that's all I have for you guys today. I shall see y'all next Thursday. Before we go, you already know I have to give you a kiss of good luck, good faith, good everything for the week to come. So give me your face. If you consent to a kiss, stay tuned. If not, skip a couple of seconds. But mwah, 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 mwah. My beautiful little sugar plum, you are amazing. You're beautiful. I'm glad that you're in this world. You deserve to be here. You're amazing. And I just love everything about you. And I hope to see you next Thursday, my beautiful little succulent little mwah. Anyways, I love you guys. I shall see y'all next Thursday.